Okay, this will be bracing for some of you because thanks to me, the level of intellectual probity on Facebook is now much, much better than it is on X. Oh, I love that. So let's talk about you. You affluent little dominators. Oh, aren't you cute? Let's talk about you. First, the thing everyone, especially people in Gaza, people on the African continent, all your victims need to know is that the affluent see the world completely upside down. They do. This is why the ones that call themselves leftists are always like the most arrogant, transparently white supremacist fucks. Like that idiot who attacked AOC before she'd actually had time to assume office because, he was a podcaster and she hadn't relieved him of his need to ever involve himself in actually making any change, as opposed to simply, expressing superiority. And who did he express superiority about? After a 2018 election that any political scientist or just any citizen who gave a fuck would have known was really profound in its meaning. Well, not this guy. Why not, Paul? Because he doesn't care about anyone or anything. Now, this is not true, probably, in his private life. There's a book about this. I wouldn't recommend reading it now. I'm out of sympathy with them. I imagine you're out of sympathy with yourselves. But if you want to check it out, so you know why I'm referring to it, it's taught in the better politics programs. It's called Habits of the Heart. The book is about the need in capitalism to project an image that says, I will do anything to satisfy the dictates of shareholder greed, and how that leads to this sort of Jekyll Hyde creature. Because when they're in other contexts where that's not needing to be proved, they don't act like that. This is actual status behavior because everyone is afraid of losing status. Now, if you don't get it yet, these are the most impoverished people on the planet. You are wealthy in relation or in proportion to what you can let be. The affluent can't let anyone or anything be what it is, and that's why life on earth is coming to an end. It's why this generation of affluent Americans had no problem, right? Just going right out of those student protests. And right here in California, where it was Reagan versus the student protesters, and the white ones were also, and then they weren't. They just weren't. The men especially. It's interesting. A lot of ladies in those student protests are right there now, and I work with them. There's a few guys. Most of the guys are posers, though. It's mostly the ladies. God, they're wonderful, though. You should stop it. You know what I call them? I call them the baby bums, the affluent, because it gets us back to reality. Again, their world is upside down. Who's in debt? They are. Who's ripping off who? They are. No matter what currency you're talking in, right? Now, you'll never hear Peter Kalmus have a blunt conversation about this with you, but he was good enough to sign a letter to Biden saying, since you're responsible, the United States is responsible, 4% of the world's population, responsible for 40% of the excess CO2 beyond what the Earth can absorb without overheating. It's us, 40%. Do you have any idea the body count that already adds up to after 5 decades of climate famine? Well, no. Because it consistently is the case that the affluent have no idea about anything. They only get enough information in their heads to be able to turn them on a swivel and, blurt things that don't make them look foolish. They never know anything. You cannot have a substantive conversation with a human being who has no recent experience of hardship. Look at life on earth. Look at the condition it's in. Of course you can't. Of course you can't. Stop. Have some shame. You are the problem. Your class is the problem. Not anybody else. You.